Good evening and welcome to Sunset News this Friday evening. As always, we bring you news, community stories, economics, weather, and sports. I am Glenora Shipura. In the news tonight, we start with an update. Earlier today, it was announced that President Hage Geingob, Namibia's first Prime Minister, Chairperson of the Constituent Assembly, and the third President of Namibia, has been conferred hero status by President Nangola Mbumba and will be granted a state funeral scheduled to take place next week. Moving on, still in light of honoring the late president, Walvis Bay business community members showed up in numbers yesterday at the Atlantic Hotel to honor and pay respect to the fallen giant of the Republic of Namibia. The event continues today. Frida Moloto reports.
Walvis Bay business community members are showing up in numbers at the Atlantic Hotel to honor and pay respect to the fallen giant of the Republic of Namibia. The event continues.
There was no affable moral as the voice of the nation was reduced to hushed tones. Primordial shifting scenarios of the Namibian people, I say when cry out, I say, for the president, the gentle giant, for he had feet as big as that of an elephant bull, but walked graciously with poise. Indeed, an upright man, coming towards the prince and he who stood shoulder above man, a gallant son of the soil, His Excellency, Dr. Hage Gottfried Geingob.
In our next story, Ronelli Guriras, the principal and mathematics teacher of Dordabes Primary School, recently attended a workshop to improve mathematics teaching organized by the Japan International Cooperation Agency. Jemima Biek has contributed this video. Let's take a look.
I am Ronelli Guriras. I am a principal of Dordabes Primary School, and I'm also a mathematics teacher. I was presenting at the workshop organized by the Japan International Cooperation, JICA, in Swakopmund, and it was about curriculum development. So the mistakes that the teachers mentioned, the teachers from Erongo and Ochodon Juba are part of the workshop. The mistakes or the challenges that they saw in the curriculum is that when they receive question papers, they see that the mathematics question papers in primary education, they see that the papers are not really up to standard. And they also talked about the mistakes in the textbooks, and that the classrooms are overcrowded, among other things. So I just thought that, and I advised the teachers as well as the inspector that was part of the workshop, that perhaps they can strengthen the clustering system. We have different clusters where a farm school, for example, is linked with a school in town, for example, Swakopmund or wherever. Like for us, it's Windhoek, and a farm school, perhaps also a private school where they have all the resources. There is an expert mathematics teacher at a specific school, so they are clustered together, so the other teachers can actually learn from the expertise of a teacher at a different school, and then they can set up their question papers together, they moderate their question papers together, And then they learn from the expertise of other teachers as well through the clustering system. So my advice was that Erongo region should really strengthen the clustering system. But now Erongo region is very vast. Omaruru is part of Erongo. Omashede is part of Erongo. So the teachers are really spread all over the region. So maybe it's also a challenge. About the mistakes in the textbooks, my advice is that we live in the digital age. We live in the 21st century where a teacher doesn't need to be textbook based. You take a topic from the syllabus, you do your own research. There are materials on the World Wide Web.
Still with our top stories, popular democratic movement lawmaker Ina Hengari is instituting a $2 million civil suit against the Namibian police on the 25th of March 2023 following her arrest before a planned demonstration that was planned for that day. Hengari made the demands in a letter to Nampol Inspector General Joseph Shikongo, claiming suffering shock and trauma at the hands of the police following her arrest through her lawyer, Mesekameneko Shituri. As a consequence of your members' unlawful and reprehensible conduct, we herewith notify you, as we hereby do and in terms of Section 39 of the Police Act, that you are liable to a civil claim by our client for pain and suffering, shock and trauma, loss of proper amenities of life and discomfort, and that we shall be instituting civil proceedings in the High Court of Namibia on the 15th of March 2024, Shituri said. Hengari invited Nampol to negotiate towards a negotiable settlement before the matter is heard in the High Court. Hengari was arrested and detained at the Oshomwise police station on that date, together with Namibia Economic Freedom Fighters member Michael Amushelelo and Dimbulukeni Nuyoma, co-founder of the Affirmative Repositioning Movement. Hengari, Nuyoma and Amushelelo were charged with counts of public violence, malicious damage to property and incitement to public violence after being arrested at a planned demonstration by unemployed youths in Katutura. The trio were arrested despite calling off the planned demonstration following an earlier failed court bid to proceed with a demonstration on the morning of the 21st of March 2023. The state, however, later withdrew charges against Hengari after stating that there was no prima facie case against her. The opposition lawmakers spent 3 nights in police custody before she was granted bail of 5,000 Namibian dollars. In our Story of the Day segment, the Minister of Fisheries and Marine Resources shared the late President's life events. Stick around for this.
The Agenda is a weekly national affairs interview program hosted every Sunday by Namibian Sun editor Toivon Jabela, featuring a panel of high-profile newsmakers, analysts, and experts. The Agenda aims to reach high-end news consumers seeking informed understanding of national issues. This show is broadcasted on NTV, Oneuptwo.com, and the Namibia Media Holdings Facebook platform. The Agenda focuses on interviews where we put the nation in the hot seat. Contact Agenda at synergy.com.na to get your product and service in the hot seat. The Agenda, focused on today's conversation.
Derek Claassen, Minister of Fisheries and Marine Resources, shared the late President's life events as a Namibian freedom fighter. Frida Muloto reports. Let's take a look.
And respect to a true liberation struggle icon, an exceptional administrator, and an embodiment of unity and progress. But amidst the grief, a solemn realization emerged that we as Namibians were privileged witness to a leader who defied the ordinary. who brought about extraordinary change through his unwavering dedication to the ideals of justice, unity, and progress. The loss we feel today is a testament to the profound impact he had on our lives and the void he leaves behind. His unwavering commitment to freedom and justice compelled Dr. Geinkop and other heroes and heroines of our liberation to leave Namibia and wage a long, bitter, and life-threatening struggle against the apartheid minority regime of white South Africa for Namibia's liberation. It is due to their intervention and the blood of our fallen heroes who laid such a costly sacrifice on the altar of freedom that Namibia was set on a new path in search of prosperity and growth. As a service to his country, in addition to being a liberation struggle hero, President Geinkop led the drafting and adoption of a constitution for Namibia that is widely referred and celebrated as a model of democratic governance. His steadfast belief in the power of the community sought to safeguard the rights and liberties of all divisions and foster a testament national unity, understanding that our strength lies in our diversity. Remarkable achievement also in coining this phrase on a national, President and international scale have earned the entire admiration and against of global hatred and divisions created by our President Geinkop's rule, ceaseless dedication to the betterment of Namibia, and his tireless efforts to establishing the administrative superstructures shortly after Namibia's independence make us proud as Namibians and remind us that we remain a country that respects the rule of law, institutions, processes, and systems.
In our Community Talk segment, Rosing Foundation supports Swakopmund Child Safety Home with a donation. We expand on this on the other side of the break.
Connection. It's in the human touch, the feeling of belonging. It inspires us and empowers us, creates clarity from complexity. It starts new conversations, unlocks the power of advice, and makes an impact on your life. At Alex Forbes, we pioneer insight to provide you with advice that connects your decisions of today to your impact tomorrow.
The Rosing Foundation has announced a substantial donation of 350,000 Namibian dollars to the Roach Elohim Foundation, a registered child protection organization in Namibia. This donation aims to support ongoing efforts in caring for abandoned, neglected, and abused babies across the country. Of the total donation, 240,000 Namibian dollars is allocated towards enhancing social work expertise within the Roach Elohim Foundation, empowering their team to provide comprehensive support to individuals and families in need. Additionally, 50,000 Namibian dollars will be directed towards awareness campaigns and capacity building initiatives, expanding the foundation's reach in addressing baby dumping. The remaining 60,000 Namibian dollars will be used to provide essential infant formula, milk, ensuring the well-being of the children. Maria Emmanuel, the Rosing Foundation's Liaison and Community Development Manager, commended the Foundation's dedication to providing a haven for vulnerable infants. She emphasized the importance of supporting initiatives like the Baby Saver Box, which prevents unsafe abandonment and contributes to the prevention of abortion. Ronald Peters, founder of the Roach Elohim Foundation, expressed gratitude for the donation, acknowledging the challenges faced in sustaining the operations of the safety homes. Peters affirmed the foundation's commitment to providing care for children, now bolstered by the support of the Rosing Foundation. After the break, we get into our economic news. Do stay with Sunset News. Dundee Precious Metal Incorporated has announced that it is considering a possible sale of its Tsumeb smelter, as the Namibian business is no longer seen as a strategic to DPM's asset portfolio. The miner's decision comes as the Namibia-based smelter will no longer be expected to process any concentrate from DPM's Chelopech mine in Bulgaria, commencing in 2024. As a result, it is no longer seen as strategic to DPM's asset portfolio. Consequently, the assets and liabilities of Tsumeb have been presented as held for sale in the consolidated statement of financial position as of December the 31st, 2023, and the operating results and cash flows of Tsumeb have been presented as discontinued operations in the consolidated statements of earning, loss, and cash flows for the years ended December 31, 2023 and 2022. The Canadian-based mining company said DPM's Tsumeb smelters smelted 188,803 tons of complex concentrate in 2023, 14,681 tons higher than the corresponding period in 2022, primarily due to increased plant availability following the completion of the maintenance work in the third quarter of 2023. DPM is in the process of acquiring Osino Resources in a $4 billion Namibian deal, an acquisition expected to enhance the miner's asset portfolio. Now let's take a look at our financial indicators. The Namibian dollar trades against the British pound at 23.73, against the euro at 20.33, against the US dollar at 18.88, $2 Namibian dollars and 63 cents gets you one Chinese yuan. On the commodities market, gold and copper went up while platinum and Brent crude oil went down. Brent crude oil trading at 0.94%, going for $82 and 11 cents per barrel. We now take a look at our international news. Hong Kong authorities said earlier today that they had arrested 7 people suspected of being involved in a $1.8 billion money laundering case, the largest ever in the financial hub. The 7 comprise 5 men and 2 women, aged 23 to 74, one of whom is believed to be the mastermind of the scheme. Customs authorities said they did not reveal the nationalities, but said all 7 were Hong Kong residents. The scheme allegedly involved online scams in India and the sale of electronics and rare gems, including diamonds, among other goods. Authorities said the scheme allegedly used shell companies and multiple bank accounts to launder money, with one account receiving more than 50 deposits in one day. Authorities did not name the banks. The 7 were all released on bail while investigations continued, and authorities did not rule out the prospect of further arrest. Let's take a look.
On 30 January this year, Hong Kong Customs mounted an enforcement operation codenamed Daybreak and smashed a large-scale transnational money laundering syndicate, which had laundered about 14 billion Hong Kong dollars through international trade activities. This is the largest ever money laundering case detected by Hong Kong Customs to date in terms of the amount of tainted money laundered. 3 non-ethnic Chinese and 4 Chinese, all local residents aged between 23 and 74, were arrested. One of the non-ethnic Chinese was the mastermind of the syndicate controlling the entire money laundering network, including the recruitment of the moves to open shell companies and steward brand accounts through a middleman, who was an insurance agent. Through robust intelligence exchange with the Indian authorities relinked some of the changed money in the bank accounts concerned with the proceeds from a notorious mobile application scam that had been taken down earlier last year in India.
We'll be heading into our weather predictions, but first, a quick ad break.
Neo Paints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neo Paints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neo Paints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
Let's get into our weather predictions for the capital city and the rest of Namibia. Windhoek can expect partly cloudy conditions with a minimum of 17 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 31 degrees Celsius. Oshakati can also expect partly cloudy conditions with a minimum of 22 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 34 degrees Celsius. Handys Bay can expect sunny weather with a minimum of 15 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 19 degrees Celsius. Rehoboth can expect partly cloudy conditions with a minimum of 17 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 34 degrees Celsius. We'll now head over to the sports desk, proudly brought to you by Sports Rep.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, and starting off with tennis news first. Two tournaments being played, one on the WTA Women's Tour and then one on the Men's Tour. Starting off with the WTA Women's Tour, it is the Qatar Open, and the four players playing in the semi-finals have been determined. It will be number 1 seed, Iga Swiatek. She will play against Karolina Pliskova, and that is after Iga Swiatek beat Victoria Azarenka by 6-4 and 6-love. It was Karolina Pliskova, also too strong for Naomi Osaka, and the score in that quarterfinal was 7-6 and 7-6. Number 3 seed, she's also through to the semi-finals. That is Elena Rybakina, and she beat Leila Fernandez. She beat her by 6-4 and 6-2. And it's Elena Rybakina that will play in the semi-finals now against Anastasia Pavlikova. Then on the ATP Men's Tour, it is Rotterdam Open, and it's Jannik Sinner, the Australian Open winner. He's through to the next round. He played in the round of 16, and he beat Gael Monfils by 6-3, 3-6 and 6-3. Then number 3 seed, Holger Rune, he's out of the tournament. He lost in the round of 16. He lost to Alexander Chechenko, and the score there was 6-4, 1-6 and 6-3. On to cricket news, and it's a South African women's team that's really battling against Australia. That is in a once-off test against Australia, and it is Australia that lead by 432 runs, and it is South Africa that batting again in the second innings. What happened was South Africa first innings 76 runs, and then Australia replied by a massive score of 575 for the loss of 9 wickets, and that is with Annabelle Sutherland scoring 202 runs. South Africa batting again in the second innings, they 67 for the loss of 3 wickets. Then also the test match between South Africa's men's cricket team and New Zealand that's also done. It's New Zealand that won the second test. They won it in Hamilton, and they won it by 7 wickets. A tough task for them to chase 269 to win in their second innings, but they did it for just a loss of 3 wickets. And it was Kane Williamson that had success again, a big 100 for him, 133 runs for Kane Williamson in the win of New Zealand over South Africa, winning that test series by 2-0. And to conclude today's international sports news, it is soccer news. The soccer news from the club Paris Saint-Germain, PSG. And the news there is that the France striker Kylian Mbappe, he told the club of his intention to leave the club at the end of the year. He already tried to leave the club last year, but he stayed on to finish his contract. And it is a strong speculation that he will join Real Madrid. He's earning close to 200 million US dollars annually a year, so he's quite expensive, but Real Madrid looking for a striker. Quite recently, it was PSG, Paris Saint-Germain that had three very high-quality players on their books. It was Mbappe that was on their books, and also Lionel Messi, but he left. And then also, quite recently, it was the Brazilian international Neymar, also played for PSG. So all three of them will be not at the club at the end of the season. That's international sports news for today. Hope you have a great sport day, and we talk international sport again on Monday. Goodbye.
And with that, we've come to the end of the broadcast. Make sure you join Sunset News on Facebook, on all the NMH platforms on weekdays, as well as on our website, oneuptwo.com. Sunset News screens on DSTV channel 285 and GoTV channel 25 every weekday and Sundays from 7:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. I am Glenora Shipura, and this has been Sunset News. Don't end your day without us.